Hey guys, I'm here to talk about how to harvest willow and also where to find it. I'm on the banks of the Green River, which is quite beautiful today. It's a sunny day. And willow really likes water. So you're going to find it in wetlands, you're going to find it on riverbanks. One of the roles of willow in its habitats is to stabilize soil and keep water around. So if you were to just take out all these willow trees, the river would just erode all the soil and it would be super fast rapids and it would probably cause a lot of flooding. So we're grateful for willow to be around. It really saves us quite a lot. Willow bark is anti-inflammatory. It's used for pain relief internally and externally. And typically I like to make a tincture or a tea out of it, but keep in mind that our native species of willows really don't taste that good. They can be rather astringent. They have a lot of very strong compounds. Traditionally in Europe, white willow was used, which is Salix alba, and that one has a little less astringent compounds in the bark. And so, you taste it and it's a little astringent, but you can handle it. These ones are like, oh, they're a little bit much. So I typically stick with the topical uses for these ones, but I want to show you how to harvest it. And sometimes you'll find a species, we have like a ton of different species, I want to say 20 plus species in Washington. You'll find a species that isn't quite so astringent, so I have found certain trees that have good medicine for internal use too. So let's take some branches off. When I select branches from trees, I like to be pretty mindful about which I'm selecting. For example, if I were to just like chop the top off of this willow, the willow would certainly grow back because willows are known for recovering from cutting, which one of the reasons for that is that the water takes branches off a lot. So they'll basically just like get a bunch of branches where that branch was was broken off. But I don't really want to affect the tree's habit in a noticeable way for my personal preferences. So sometimes I like to take a side branch or a branch that's a little less noticeable. And I always want to take something that's thicker than my thumb. And you can still use the bark on the thinner parts, but the thickest bark is going to have the more constituents and be a little bit more stronger medicinally. So that's the rule of thumb, and it applies to all bark harvest. So I think I'm going to choose this one right here. There's another branch next to it where all the energy from that can go, and I'm going to cut it at the node. And this is a fairly thick one, so it's going to be a little hard for me. I might actually even choose the thinner one here on the other side. You can use a saw, or you can use clippers or loppers to get this off. So I'm going to clip and hold this so nobody's eyes get poked out. And depending on how much you want, you probably want a couple of these because we're peeling the bark off, so the volume ends up not being a whole lot. And later we're going to actually take, you can actually even use your clippers, but any knife, and peel the bark off. It's March right now, and so the bark is just starting to be pretty waterlogged, but I think even if you waited a little longer, this bark would be even easier to peel off. Right now we're gonna have to do it with a knife, but if you wait longer for the water to get in there, you can actually just peel it off with your hands. And that's my favorite time to harvest willow bark, which is coming up. There's so much else you can do with willow too. You can actually make bark baskets. You can make stem baskets because it's so flexible. That's kind of one of the, look at that. They can make furniture out of willow. Typically they'll dry it first and then hydrate it with water, but even just green like this, it bends so well. So that's how you harvest willow. Good luck finding it. There's lots of different species, so keep your eye out.